It is 9 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Friday, March 14th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show. News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights and hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Big new advertiser joining the show today. Want to welcome our friends over at Tesla.
Tesla.
Going on now at the White House Tesla Auto Mall. It's the biggest sale of the year.
Very safe, it's very strong, heavy. It's all steel, stainless steel.
Come on down to Pennsylvania Avenue, just off Route 29, to get our best deal ever on a brand new Tesla.
I want to make a good deal here. They have one, which is $35,000, which is pretty low.
Get a Model 1 with a different panel and everything's computer.
This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
So don't waste your time going to those other Tesla dealerships with riots and flaming Cybertrucks. You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
I love Tesla.
You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
This is really amazing.
Tesla.
That's a joke
That
after Donald Trump brought out all the Teslers
Yeah.
in front of the White House and did a showcase.
That was funny. Yeah.
I'm interested to see if there's a bump up in sales that'll result. The Trump bump.
I can't see why it would happen. And the only reason is because the audience he's talking to doesn't want EVs in the first place. That's the part.
Right.
Is he's trying to sell ice to Eskimos. That's the part, is that the people that don't need
How
or
good
want
is
that.
he in his sales?
Yeah, I'm
You'll
not
get
sure.
some people. Some people bought Trump Bibles.
Yeah, but EVs are the climate change liberal Democrat scam. That's different than the Bible, where they're already believers.
Coal-powered car.
Yeah, but the issue is, that's the issue, is I can't see this becoming a MAGA type vehicle simply because it's an EV.
The challenge I run into is we live out in the sticks, and they don't plow our roads. And I could get a Cybertruck, but that's huge. I already got a big truck. I don't need a Cybertruck. I need like the Ford F-150.
Yeah.
And if Tesla had, especially a square body Ford,
Go look at the
or
Ford
one
Lightning.
of those old Chevys or something like that.
I'll tell you what,
Ooh, boy.
the Ford Lightning is an amazing
I don't want an
vehicle.
electric car.
I know, but see, that's the thing. This is the thing. Hang on.
I don't want to plug in my car.
Wait, here we go. Put a pit right there. There's the flag. There's the flag. Because right in that conversation, you started out with, I don't want the Tesla because I don't want the Cybertruck. It's too big. I need something that'll go through this. And as soon as I gave you the one that goes through the snow, you're like, I don't want an EV. That's the point.
It's true.
That's the point. You don't
I'll
want an
admit
EV.
it. I don't want to plug in a car, and I
Yeah.
don't want to sit around for like 25 minutes reading a book while it charges.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible. Put diesel into it, a little coal coming out the back.
And that's the problem. That is the problem with the idea of the charging stations. One, there are not enough of them, but it's taking too long right now. Yeah, and the conversion at home. But the Lightning would tick all the boxes you need. However, it is way overpriced. It is way overpriced.
How much is it running, do you think?
Plus 6 figures. Last time. I mean, it's down now. It's down now, but yeah, when it started, it
Dude,
was.
it's like
yeah.
the people who buy the Hummer EVs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, bro.
I know.
Really?
I know. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is, it's if they would have started with something that was smaller and more affordable in the pickup truck market, I think they would have had something. But they went with the
Datsun.
big.
Where's the Nissan Datsun?
Yes, little tiny Toyotas, stuff like that. That's what we need.
Oh, that's
Although,
what I need.
I did see that.
I'm in the market for a new car because I have a daughter that just turned 16, and she took so I buy a car new.
Yeah.
And I never traded in. Like, that thing is 16 years old, 275,000. The minute something happens on the little engine, check it. I take it in. I do all the belts. I take good care of my cars. They last forever.
Yeah, they do if you take care of them.
And now my daughter's driving it, so I'm in the market for a new car. Little Toyota truck. That might work. I like the little cars.
Yeah, I do too. I like little cars
I'm
too.
not
You know
a
how
fan
tiny
of the
my
big
car
ones.
is. My car is like takes up half a parking space.
It's because most of my life I'm zipping around the city.
Yeah,
And I just
exactly.
need it, but I need it big enough to get through snow out in Elizabeth.
Yeah, I mean, my car only has 2 seats in it. So I did see the other day, though, that someone online had posted on social media that, you know, those things that are happening, the protests and the fires and the destruction at the Tesla auto dealerships. Someone said, no, those are just people that are gathering to show love, just like what happened during January 6th. I'm like, that's okay. I disagree with them, but that was funny. But that was funny. That was funny.
All right. Let's now check in with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
TGIF 42 and cloudy. There's some rain in Denver. Expecting a high of 52 today. The 7-10 5-day forecast is coming up. Our top story, you can take this one into your weekend social events. A UN judge, a former Columbia University human rights fellow, found guilty of slavery. She trafficked a young woman to the United Kingdom and forced her to work as a slave. Lydia Mugambi, who happens to be black, a Ugandan judge, proves that anyone can become a slave owner, especially in 2025. The Senate will grill Dr. Oz today over his nomination to head Medicare and Medicaid services. The 64-year-old TV celebrity is likely to be approved by the Republican majority at today's confirmation hearing. Sean Diddy Combs will be in court today. The rapper is expected to plead not guilty to new accusations of criminal conduct today. Combs is facing 2 new indictments of sexual abuse and forced labor. President Putin from Russia says certain conditions will need to be met before he agrees to a ceasefire with Ukraine. A U.S. negotiated 30-day ceasefire is on the table. Senate and House Democrats may be at odds over the GOP funding bill. House Democrats voted almost unanimously against the stopgap government funding bill and are reportedly in a complete meltdown after Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schmucky Schumer said that he would support the bill. A senior House Democrat told Axios that people are furious. A man in custody on charges related to a deadly crash on I-70 in Jefferson County. Investigators say 34-year-old Gian Bingen was driving the wrong direction on I-70 East in Wheat Ridge early Thursday and killed a woman in a car driving the right direction. A toddler was injured but expected to survive. Chen was taken into custody and booked on several counts, including suspicion of drunk driving and vehicular homicide. Police investigating reported threats against a Colorado restaurant owned by Elon's brother. The Kitchen restaurant in Boulder, it's called The Kitchen, reported a bomb threat to police Wednesday. It's the second time this year the restaurant has received a bomb threat. The Kitchen is owned by Kimball Musk, who's Elon's younger brother. Here's Elon with more on those just horrific Doge cuts.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions. And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about. But what should be easy is getting rid of the pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody.
Oh, I forgot. That was Barry in 2011.
Hey, Blake, have you seen the video of Dianne Feinstein she had just gotten elected, and she's like, I want to make sure that all these government employees are actually doing their jobs. I expect them, and I'm going to go look into this and make sure that they're actually.
Seen that.
Yeah, Dianne Feinstein.
Wow. Well, what year was it?
Like 1918. I don't know. 1960s. I think it was
I
in
have
the
not
60s.
seen that one.
I'll post it on X. But yeah, Feinstein.
Dude,
she's going to look into
that.
these government employees, make sure they're actually doing their jobs.
Wow, imagine that. That is just so crazy. God, Doge and Elon, they're horrible. Trump, they're horrible people. The left is creating more terror for these guys. There's a trend of conservatives in media and social media being swatted. The latest, talk show host Joe Pags.
This is not me jumping on any bandwagon. I wasn't going to publicize it at all, but all of these big people are, and I think that there's probably more power in putting the information out there. So once I got the okay, I walked out, and it's not one officer, it's not one deputy, it's 7. There are 7 deputies in like with tactical gear. All of them had a long gun, as they should. I'm not against that. I have one too. All of them nervous as hell. I get it. I understand, at 2:30 in the morning on a Tuesday or whatever it was.
Jeez. Thankfully, no one was shot. This has to end. They've got to find whoever does this. They've got to figure out a way. Pete has a great show lined up for tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Illegal immigration talk.
We have two men. One is in his first part of his 30s. I've not met them. I've not spoken with them. The other guy's in his 20s. They walked here from Venezuela, and they have horror stories. And they're somewhat upset about it. Now, and I know this is a very hypocritical, but they're upset how people portray them.
All right, don't forget that's tomorrow morning. CSU over Nevada in the Mountain West Conference tourney, taking on Utah State tonight at 10 o'clock. And CU's season comes to an end after they lose to Houston. Lakers at the Nuggets tonight, and college hockey DU best of 3 series with CC at Magnus on campus. 41 in Aurora, 40 in Glendale, 42 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue.
There's a man on TV at a desk in a suit. He lies through his teeth and they still call it the news. And
weekend, Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
A Pacific cold front will race across Colorado today, bringing quite a change in our weather. Partly cloudy skies to mostly cloudy skies, becoming very windy. Temperatures will be near 50 to start the day, but falling into the upper 30s by afternoon. Very strong, gusty northwest winds. During the day today, through late afternoon and early evening, a few rain and snow showers. Then lows tonight, mid-20s. Cool and breezy, upper 40s Saturday. Then warming back to the 60s Sunday and Monday. Next chance of rain and snow Tuesday. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. This is News Talk 710 KNUS. Before we get back to the regularly scheduled part of the program, I want to hang out with you for a sec and talk about Wound Care Associates of Colorado. They're a new advertiser, and we're really excited for them to be part of the team here because they are changing how you deal with, diabetic ulcers, pressure sores, those slow healing cuts. I know you're like, Bill, you care about a slow healing cut? Yeah, I actually do. I do care about you, despite some of the times that we go round and round on this. And I'm concerned about your health. And one of the reasons this is important to me is because years ago, my aunt had some comorbidities and developed a long cut that ran down her, not her shin area on her leg. And she was getting treatment for it. It was slow healing because of some other stuff going on with her medically. And the wound care facility she was working with was maintaining the wound. Maintaining the wound. I know that means keeping it open and not actually letting it heal. They were cleaning it, and they said that was the best and proper procedure. Well, while they were doing this best and proper procedure, she developed MRSA. She was exposed to MRSA during one of the treatments, and that led to some really serious health complications. It led to some extended stays inside the hospital and some amputations, not connected to the stuff that she was already dealing with. That's why I want you to talk to Wound Care Associates of Colorado if you or someone in your family has a pressure sore, a diabetic ulcer, a slow healing cut, because they are different. Unlike what my aunt experienced, they don't try to maintain that wound. They try to promote maximum healing. They understand that the longer that your tissue and skin stays open, more opportunities for dirt, germs, and bacteria to get access to your body and to infect you. And that's what happened to my aunt, an infection. They want to prevent that. They understanding that ignoring the problem or maintaining the problem doesn't fix the problem. You have that problem in your life, that slow healing cut, the diabetic ulcer, the pressure sore, someone you and your family, don't just maintain it. Fix the problem. Contact Wound Care Associates of Colorado, Wound Care Associates of Colorado at coloradowound.com. Not only are they focused on better healing outcomes in order to close up that gap in your skin to prevent the dirt to get inside, they also go old school. They do the house call thing. Yes, their nurse practitioner that is wound certified comes to your home and sets up a private treatment plan for you. You get all the treatment necessary inside the comfort, care, and privacy of your home. No more transportation, no more waiting in the doctor's office and have them going, well, we're running about a half an hour late today. No. This is at your convenience, at your home. It is a customized, personalized care plan that is going to promote better healing. They'll close the wound, and they'll do it on your timeline at your place. Nothing can be better. There isn't anybody else doing it this way in Colorado. That's why we trust them. That's why they're the best. Wound Care Associates of Colorado. Contact them right now. ColoradoWound.com, ColoradoWound.com. Anybody in your family is dealing with a pressure sore, diabetic ulcer, concerned about a slow healing cut, ColoradoWound.com. To not maintain the problem, fix the problem. ColoradoWound.com. And when you talk to him, tell me you heard about him here on the Jeff and Bill Show. Back to you, sir.
That's great to hear, Bill. Thank you so much. Wound Care Associates of Colorado. All right, so got some help from my friends on X on this yesterday. Fox 31 reporting Doge is terminating $9.4 million in leases across Colorado. Government agencies nationwide are experiencing spending cuts and layoffs with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, and that includes properties across our state. Doge posted a wall of receipts on its website listing contract, grant, and lease cancellations. Over 9.4 million in leases are included, totaling 355,000 square feet here in this state. Fox 31 went through and matched these leases with addresses, and here we go. You ready? Here's the biggest one, and this is the one I had questions on yesterday, okay? $2.9 million annual lease. $2.9 million for 86,000 square feet at 1670 Broadway in Denver. All right, that's right downtown. The main agency there, they said Office of the Secretary. Office of the Secretary of what?
Like just a bunch of secretaries?
Yeah, right.
Like the secretary pool back in the big office? What is it?
So I posted that on X. I said, can anyone help me understand this? And people that worked there contacted me.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool. What'd they say?
You ready?
Yeah.
It's HUD.
Oh,
Housing
okay.
and Urban Development. So it's the Office of the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. But they need 86,000 square feet?
I don't
That's
know.
a lot.
What did the employees tell you? Did you ask them about, do they need 86,000 square feet?
Well, they did tell us it was multiple floors, okay? And they said about 320 HUD employees there, 3 to 4 floors of HUD employees here in Colorado. That's a lot. What are they doing?
Probably HUD stuff. I don't know. I mean, the issue is, and that's the other idea is, do we assume they're not doing anything, or is there actual jobs they could do? And if we need to contact the leases, could they do that work from home? Oh, wait, no, we can't do that.
No, they can't. Not
That's
under
bad.
Elon Musk.
No, that's bad because we shouldn't be able to do it at home. So the assumption is they're not necessary. That's again, I understand it's a giant lease. It's a lot of money, and it's not going to help bringing people back to downtown Denver because this office lease being canceled, that's now 320 people that aren't going to show up down there to go to restaurants, to go buying stuff. They're not going to be parking down there.
And I'm not sure they were there to begin with.
Well, we'd have to ask.
We'd
but
have to
know.
see.
Yeah.
So 86,000 square feet. Now, I'm not a pro on office square footage. That seems like a lot. And $2.9 million seems like a lot, too. So if anybody listening is in the commercial real estate business, I'd love for you to call in. Okay, here's the phone line, 303-696-1971. If you work in commercial real estate or you have a history or experience in commercial real estate, I want to know about some of these numbers. Is $2.9 million about right for 86,000 square feet, downtown Denver, 1670 Broadway? Or was this overinflated, too much money? Love to know from you. Okay, here's some other ones. By the way, here's the phone number, 303-696-1971. If you cannot call us, you can text in on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115, 720-819-5115. Here's some other ones, okay? 65,000 square feet, $1.4 million for the National Park Service up in Fort Collins, $1.2 million annually for 44,000 square feet for the Geological Survey in Grand Junction, another geological survey, $913,000 annually for 29,000 square feet in Boulder. Forest Service, $60,000 for $43,000 square feet in Fort Collins. Corps of Engineers in Lakewood, they're out of here. Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, $312,000 for 7,000 square feet in Fort Collins. EPA, 10,000 square feet in Castle Rock, they're out of here. Bureau of Reclamation, they're out of here. Mine Safety Health Administration and Craig, they're gone. International Trade Administration in Denver, they're out of here. So all of this totaling $9.4 million in leases. You hear about this. How does it make you feel about what Elon Musk and Doge is doing? Okay, to Bill's point, you're going to have at least 300, 400 employees no longer going downtown because of the termination of that lease for HUD off of Broadway. That's going to add to the vacancy rates already rising in the city. Or, from my perspective, you got a lot of people doing a lot of work for the federal government that I don't think is necessary to even begin with. And so, yeah, great. We're saving taxpayer dollars. Somebody else can take over the lease. Another business can come back downtown if they want to deal with the crime and homelessness. Phone lines are open, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Breadman texting in. Big box stores are typically about 100,000 square feet. So that's like a Home Depot size space for HUD in Denver.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just not aware of all the great work that HUD does. Seems like a good use of taxpayer dollars to get rid of it.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, is are we assuming because we don't understand what they do that's not needed? That's what I'm worried about, because we have examples.
I'm happy to be proven wrong here.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm worried about as far as Doge. And this is just an example, because Doge went in and canceled hiring for all the people on probation and then said they were low performers. None of that is borne out to be true. Now, again, they can, if they want, within legal realms, go ahead and fire all the people that are on probation, but their reasoning behind it is flawed and has been proven to be flawed. Some of these people had been in other positions and had gotten exemplary performance reviews. So what I'm worried about is, because we have this bromide of government workers are lazy, government workers don't do anything. So when we eliminate the office space for them, obviously they weren't doing anything with that. I think that we have come to a conclusion that may not necessarily be rational. And I did a little bit of research. AI tells us that the average office space needed for an individual is roughly 175 square feet. So that would get you to about 62,000 square feet would be an average office size. So they have about 20,000 extra office square footage there at HUD. Don't know what they're doing with it or anything else. Again, those C-suites in the corner seem to be a little larger, the people that get the big paychecks. So maybe there are some larger office spaces in there. It was weird how I always got called into the office of the general manager, and they had the big office, a little tiny cubicle. So yeah, so that could be the question as well. What are they doing, etc. But the idea this is going to be necessarily a great thing, I don't know. I'm not certain. I'm not certain, one, that we can replace that office space and that revenue as far as downtown, and that would be another issue if we're talking about people wanting to go downtown. And the other one is, are we certain that these jobs don't have to be done? There are some trims that Doge has been doing that are really, really questionable.
And that's where I land, right? Because we don't know what each one of these is doing. But America became the greatest country in world history, probably without the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service out of Fort Collins. Did we need that in the 1800s that made America the great country it is now? Seems like a lot of times when you get bureaucrats together, they just come up with lots of ideas to continue to justify their jobs?
Yeah, but I'm not certain that 1800s is where we need to go as far as the level. Because there are a whole hell of a lot of things we didn't have then that we do
And we
now that
turned out
wouldn't go back.
We turned out great.
I know, but if we would go back to the people from the 1800s and bring them now, they definitely would say our standard of living and ability to pursue freedom would be greater in many, 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 many ways. I'm not certain they would want to go back to the 1800s, and nor is anybody saying, I'm going to shed off all of these advances in society to make sure I live like the 1800s.
7,000 square feet in an office building in Fort Collins for animal and plant health inspection services. All right, prove me wrong. Tell me that these cuts are so important, and or these cuts are to important organizations and jobs that are going to make America weak, and we shouldn't be cutting all of this office spaces. We absolutely need 86,000 square feet off of Broadway for HUD because the work was so critical. Or are you like me? America became a great country without all this stuff. We don't need it. Plus, with $36 trillion in debt, thank God Elon Musk cut $9.4 million in leases across Colorado. We're doing our part. 303-696-1971 or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line 720-819-5115. Coming up here in just a second, Jeff Hildebrandt, our 710 Cowboy Poet Laureate, is going to be joining us. I want to talk to you about another great guy, Dan Caplis with Dan Caplis Law. I've known Dan for well over a decade. Pro-life, pro-family, pro-faith, pro-America. He's solid with us on the values. That matters because who you choose to represent you in an injury case is going to say a lot about you to everybody involved in the case. You get one of those guys because you saw their picture go by on a bus billboard. You have no idea what their values are. Probably not the greatest reputation, okay? Dan Caplis, sterling reputation because he's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who are hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. But more than just a great reputation, he's got a reputation as a winner. Listen to this. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law is so trusted that he's the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, put the phone number in your phone now, 303-770-5551. That's 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. A lot of the text messages on this bill with the $9.4 million lease cuts, consolidate and have them out at the Federal Center in Lakewood. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
All right. We like on our Fridays to saunter into our weekends with a little cowboy poetry. And joining us live in studio is Jeff Hildebrandt. He's a cowboy poet. He always brings us some good stuff. And today's you got some surprises.
Well, this is for all the people who are driving to work this morning, okay? There are mountains in the mirror as I drive to work each day, and I can't help but watch them at each stoplight on the way. Through the brown and leafless branches, past the foothills dark and dry, God's majestic handiwork juts upward to the sky. And if I leave for home in time, there's glory to behold as the sun sets past those mountains and the sky is pink and gold. Do you think it's just coincidence, or was it prearranged that what I see each way to work is God's mighty mountain range? The sight lifts up my spirit, and I thank God right out loud for the beauty He's created, mixing peaks with sky and clouds. There are many things reminding me to praise the Lord of hosts, but the mountains in the mirror, they're the ones I like the most.
I like that.
Oh, that's
I mean,
great.
the beauty out there, and as you mentioned, the idea that all this stuff was left up to chance. It's just, and I think as I get older, especially as a rancher, everything's programmed. Every animal's programmed.
That's right.
The idea that it just happened over millions of years.
Someone's got to explain the platypus. So that's just was that like 4:45 on a Friday, and God's like, I don't got nothing. I'm just putting these parts together.
Did you say you were mistaken for a platypus?
Quite often.
Headphones.
Yes, people are worried about the spines I'm supposed to have that are poisonous on the back on my back legs. Yes, and sometimes I lay eggs.
All right. There's a lot of talk about a lot of talk, and it's not easy being green these days.
We got St. Patty's coming up.
I heard a younger person say the problems that we face today all started long before my birth by those who didn't see the worth in cleaning up the planet Earth. The downward spirals clearly seen because you all would not go green. But I remember when the milkman would deliver to the door, and we returned our soda bottles to the grocery store. Those bottles would be sterilized, filled up, and used again, but no one talked of going green where we were way back then. I remember all those hand-me-downs and shoes that were resold. We wore short sleeves in summer and sweaters when it's cold. I remember faded Levi jeans that we patched and patched again, but no one talked recycling where we were way back then. I remember when we all just walked to get to school and back, and no one preached that exercise is what our children lack. We drank from water fountains when we were parched and dry, and we reused all our coffee mugs and never thought to buy a latte in a paper cup that won't be used again. But no one talked of going green where we were way back then. I remember when the family all watched the same TV and no one said we're wasting all our electricity. I remember moms washed diapers and hung them on a line, but no one talked of solar power because the sun dried clothes just fine. But youth today are right, of course. We need ecology because this green initiative spurs our economy. I only wish we'd understood when we were young back then, so we could have taken action to avoid the mess we're in.
I like that one.
That is
a little
really
common
good.
sense and a
Yes.
reminder that
Common sense, not so common.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sad.
And when I delay going somewhere, it's called a commentary. Just think about it a little
That's
bit.
good. That's
And don't be like my grandsons who just close their eyes and shake their heads.
I get the eye roll. That's what I get. And the sigh. The
Now, do you write poems for your grandchildren?
No.
No.
I like that long
I
pause.
wrote a poem for my first grandson when he was born.
Yeah.
About the fact that, all right, we were waiting around the campfire. Now he's finally here. And he was not aware that we were waiting for him, but he's here. And he's making the most of it now.
I would
that's
love
great.
to get a poem for my birthday from somebody. I got $5 from my grandparents for my birthday. But
Oh, wow.
getting a poem, that would be nice.
that is nice.
All right, have your wife call me.
There, we'll start off right now, Jeff. There once was a man.
Okay, Monday. Monday is St. Patrick's Day. Several years ago, my wife and I went on a tour of the UK, and we toured Ireland, among other places, and it was really fascinating. And we learned the true story of St. Patrick. And it's something that we had never heard. But like cowboy poetry, you know, all cowboy poetry is true or should be. And so I'm not guaranteeing that what we heard about St. Patrick is true, but this is the story. And it's called From St. Patrick's Way. It said St. Patrick drove the snakes off the Emerald Isle, and most believe that it's a myth. But stop and think a while. The story has more power when it's viewed another way, when we see it as a metaphor that's true for us today. Think first of the Garden of Eden and the one who tempted Eve. Satan was in serpent form in order to deceive. And in the time of Patrick, deception was widespread. Again, we see that sneaky snake had subtly misled the people into thinking God's not the only way, and so they worshipped earthly stuff, sort of like today. Here's a fact you might have missed. Patrick was an evangelist. He walked the Irish countryside, spreading God's love far and wide. On the rock of Cashel, it is said, a Druid king was finally led to see the light of heaven's love and pledge his life to God above. And soon that pagan society was embracing Christianity. So Satan and his serpent band, in a sense, were driven from the land. St. Patrick shows us what it takes for us today to drive out snakes. Don't criticize. Show love instead, so non-believers can be led to admit they can't be good enough, and that will call that serpent's bluff. Now, every time a sinner prays that God will heal them and help them change their ways, we see again what Christ came for, and a lion snake is shown the door.
I love it. Way to pull it back into the great ministry work that St. Patrick did.
Oh, yeah.
He was a slave at one point and then brought back, and fascinating story.
Yeah.
And the guy in this conversation that owns snakes is just going to be quiet. Just going to sit here and not say anything.
Yeah, I know. How did you feel in all of your theology classes growing up at Mullen when they talk about the snake and your great love and passion for snakes?
Yeah. Again, one of those times in which I made the conversation in class difficult. One of the many times. And of course, our listeners experience almost on a daily basis. Yes. Oh, yeah. In fact, I was showing you snake pictures earlier today, Jeff. Yes.
Yes, you were.
I know. Yeah, some of mine are out and running around.
Before we start, Billy likes to show a snake off.
Yeah, I know. And we're not even in the bathroom. I can't believe I said that.
Are you guys Irish? Irish?
Irish?
Irish?
I drink Irish coffee occasionally, but no, I don't.
You're not Irish?
No.
Bill, you Irish?
My wife has Irish roots.
I'm 12%. I took the little DNA thing, Ancestry.com. 12%.
I'm around 65, 75%.
Are you?
My mother's side of the family is 100% Irish.
Really?
Yeah, great-grandparents coming over, crossing the boat. So I'm only like third generation inside America on that side. Other side is Irish, Welsh, and a little bit of Austrian, but the largest portion of it being Irish. So okay. This is how weird it is in my house. I didn't understand until about 5th grade that everybody didn't get St. Patrick's Day presents.
Really?
It was Christmas Easter, St. Patrick's Day in our house. We had celebrations. There were decorations that went up. I still remember in 5th grade walking in and they're like, oh, is that a new sweater? Yes, it's my St. Patrick's Day sweater. And my friends are like, you're what? Like, you guys didn't get anything? Like, you get presents? I'm like, yes, we had presents this morning on the table wrapped when I came downstairs. Wow. That's how my mom rolls. Yeah, it was serious. We had Irish flags. We had, the soda bread. I mean, all 9 yards. Yeah, it was the 3rd of the 3 highest religious holidays in my household.
Well, I expect some flair on Monday. Bill?
Oh, we shall see. I'm not sure how much flair I still have, but yeah, I've got some stuff. Yeah, I have some things, so we'll see what happens. But it was really, really important in our household.
To tap it off, maybe Monday we'll get drunk and get into a fight.
Hey, there we go.
Just like the old Irish will do.
Yes, exactly.
Right? All right.
You know why Irish people always fight each other?
What is that?
So you have to be assured of a worthy opponent.
A shirt of
assured of. You have to make sure you have a worthy. Yeah. Make sure you have a worthy opponent.
Not a shirt.
No, not a shirt. Assured of. Yeah. You need to make sure you have a worthy opponent. Yeah. And one of my famous, and this is going to be totally inappropriate at this point, but not necessarily outside FCC boundaries, but one of my favorite old Irish toasts is here's to the girls who do, and here's to the girls who don't. But damn the girls that say they will and then decide they won't. I know. You can see why I get in trouble.
I can see the Me Too movement
yes,
losing their mind
why
right
I get
now.
in trouble over and over and over and over all the time. Right. And that may be the cleanest one of the several that I have.
And we're sure that you're talking about fixing dinner.
Absolutely, yes.
Because
it is, yes. Or darning socks. One of those things, yes. Exactly.
All right, we'll continue with Jeff Hildebrandt, some Cowboy Poetry you're listening to. Jeff and Bill.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710. Jeff does the real poetry, and I got that crap. I'm a chase. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. This is News Talk 710 KNU. As we are wrapping it up with Jeff Hildebrandt, we'll try to bring back that St. Patrick's Day poem for you on Monday. What is the craziest thing you ever did on St. Yeah, ever the craziest thing you ever did on St. Patrick's Day? We got like 20 seconds. Anything?
I went to school.
That's not crazy.
That's crazy.
That was disappointing. Alrighty. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. We will see you for St. Patrick's Day and all the wonderful green beer. Have a wonderful weekend. We are Jeff and Bill, Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.